So as I mentioned, this session is Choose Your Own Adventure with Google Slides. I'm Ben Woods, and you can see there the Catholic Learning Online team who have been putting together this summit. And on the right-hand side there, your e-learning group representatives. If at any time you need assistance in this space with your online learning, your digital learning, then please reach out to anyone that you can see on that screen, whether it's people from the e-learning group or from the Catholic Learning Online team. Today we are blessed to have Phil Crosby from the Lismore Diocese. Phil is a Google certified trainer and has worked in the Wilcannia, Forbes, Broken Bay and now Diocese of Lismore, where he teaches at St. Joseph's in Alstonville. He's the acting assistant principal as well as the school's digital innovator, which I'm sure keeps him very busy. And he is originally from England, but has been here in Australia for 12 years. We welcome Phil and thank him for his time preparing for this session, obviously during his holiday break, and taking the time to present and share some of his expertise with you along the way. It's great to see there's obviously some people that recognise you there, Phil, in the chat, because there's a few nice comments coming your way already.
Yeah, a couple of colleagues.
If you do have any questions throughout the session, please put them into the chat. Myself or the rest of the Catholic Learning Online team or Phil will be able to answer those questions as we go through. So thank you, Phil. I will throw over to you, stop my share, and I'll throw directly over to you.
Oh, all right, I'll just
before you do that, Jane, you had your hand up. Is there a question you've got there, or was that an accident? Or yours.
Sorry, that was an accident.
That's all right. Or yours, Phil.
All right, okay. I'll just share my screen. Oh, is that hope everybody can see that?
Yep.
Yeah, cool. All right, yeah. So I might be closing tabs, opening things just to show you some different stuff. So just bear with me. If you did want to open up a Google slide and if you like to do things as you watch, that's fine. If you want to do a split screen or just go back and forth, obviously the recording's available, so I mean, you could just go back and have a look then. So, all right, I'll get started. Okay, so choose your own adventure using Google Slides. Also I'd like to do an acknowledgement of country, acknowledging the Bundjalung Nation on whose land I will speak from today. I'd like to show my respect and acknowledge the traditional custodians of this land, the Bundjalung Nation, and elders past and present. Okay, so like I said, Ben's give me that introduction, but yeah, I'm Phil Crosby. I work in St. Joseph's in Alstonville. I've been there the last 5 years now. Fortunate enough to be acting principal mission, teach stage 2, and do the technology as well. So yeah, keeps me busy, but I'm thoroughly enjoying it. We've got a great school. Okay, so our intention today is we want to be able to learn how to create a choose your own adventure text. So hopefully give you the confidence to be able to design and build your own from looking at some examples, and also see the link with digital technologies as well. It's almost like getting ready for that kind of coding, link like branching and sequencing, decision making. You'll see how that kind of looks. So success criteria, we want to be able to identify how we can use it across learning areas. You kind of think choose your own adventure, you think, oh, story, narrative writing, but hopefully I can show you a few kind of variations of that that I've used in my classroom. I probably used it in other subject areas more than actually in just English and writing. Skills in creating the pathways. So it's actually, once you've done it, it's actually pretty simple. The different pathways, the different adventure directions, and then hopefully you'll be able to start and build your own. So this is a really basic example of how it could work. So this is my journey so far. So this is how it started. All right, so I've got an option. So this is going back to college. I'm deciding going to university. What should I do? Should I go down the sporting route? Or actually, in college, I did drama, so I could go down that route. So which direction shall I choose? I think I'll go stick to what I know best. I'll stick to the sport. So after I did my degree in Hull in sports and health and exercise science, I had some more options. I could have gone into PE teaching. I had an opportunity there, or I could put on my backpack and head to Australia, do some traveling, play some rugby league. I think I'll go down that direction. So after a couple of years in Australia doing that, traveling around, what can I do? Go back on the plane, find somewhere else to visit. I go to the University of Wollongong and get my primary school teaching. I think I'll go that direction. And then I'm left with another choice. Do I stick on the coast, what I've been used to in my time in Australia, or I take a gamble and go out to the Hay Plains and go teach out there? I end up the Hay Plains. And then after Hay, teaching in Sydney, in Broken Bay, do I want to stick where I am? Do I want to keep moving? Where do I want to settle? I think I'll choose the Ballina Prawn. And that's my journey so far. So that's what I got with it. That's my little adventure. So that's a really, really simple example where I've just used images as a way to choose my path. And I could start over and see what I did if I did go down the acting route. Oh, look what I missed out on. Superstar. Oh well. So create your adventure. What's the benefits? Well, they engage the audience. They're interactive. They're hands-on. I think that attaches with a lot of kids. You're using your imagination. It's triggering ideas. You're getting the audience to think when you're giving them choice, and also in creating the adventure yourself. Like the fact that you've got to come up with different pathways really gets you not only thinking creatively but critically as well. It's a different way to present your learning. I'll show you down the track, but it could be a narrative that you're creating, but it could be a way that you can present your learning. It could be even say history or geography or anything like that. You could use the Create Your Adventure to present your understanding. And it's choice. We know students love choice, and that's the great thing about it. You're literally giving people choice, and it could be a way to put in your toolkit, and this could be a choice of the way students present their learning. So the really kind of important part when you're doing these Create Your Adventures is you've really got to plan ahead. You've got to map out your adventure. So just like any other text, you go through that brainstorming phase, you go through that planning phase, and it's a little bit different with the Choose Your Own Adventure. And I'll just show you some examples of the planning phase. All right, so this is kind of that introducing students to the idea of branching, that this choice enables this, or you do this and this will happen. So here's again, just a really simple example of what that branching might look like, and you planning out your adventure. So this is just a simple narrative. You know, imagine being stranded on a desert island, and how will you survive? And obviously this is just a plan. So if you was doing a text, you'd add a lot more description and detail, but this is just a plan. So imagine this is your Google Slides. At the top here would be, this could be your slide number 1. And slide number 2 is your options. Okay, now what are you going to do when you're on this desert island? Are you going to search for materials to build a shelter, or you're going to go fishing? All right, and I know a lot of boys in my class straight away would choose this option straight up. So depending on what you choose, that will send you on a different path. So if I go down the fishing route, then I'll end up with another couple of choices. So this could be another slide on itself, and like this way. And you could create paths where you end up being at the end may be the same, but it's just how you get there might be different. I'll show you a couple of planning templates, and it might give you a better idea. I'll just exit out of here. So all these templates I've put at the end of my slides. So maybe if I just put the slide in the comments at the end, and then I've just made them so anyone can use them.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic. Thanks, Phil.
So this is one I made on Google Drawing. Looking at the offset, it kind of looks a little bit complicated, but yeah, if you imagine them as each one is its own Google slide. So you'd start here with your introduction, and then you have a scenario. So the last scenario was that you're stuck on a desert island, and then you've got a choice to go one way or the other. Okay, so from this scenario, if I make this choice, then I'm going to go to this slide. Okay, let's say this is slide 3, or I could go to this choice, and this could be slide 4, and I'll show you how it works. It just works on hyperlinks. I'll show you that soon, but I just thought it would be good to show you how to plan it out and how a choose your own adventure looks in terms of branching, and how it's really important for the students to do it successfully. You know, I'd really advise to do a plan like this. Just and this would be great for students collaborating as well. You know, you could be work with a partner, and I could be in charge of one direction or one adventure, and the other partner could do another. You could work in a group. So there's lots of benefits. Similarly, it's pretty much the same, but just on a Google Doc. I prefer the Google Drawing myself, but it's just an image. I actually found this on the Digital Technologies Hub, so I won't take credit for it. It's just things I found scouring myself on the internet. This one I think is really student friendly, and it gives you a better idea of the slides. So so there's really a narrative template. So you can see here it says slide 1. So you've got your slide 1, you've got your story. The next slide you might have the title. The next slide you might have your introduction, or a sizzling start. And then on slide 4 you can see this is where I've got my question or my dilemma, and then you've got your choices. And then if I choose this choice, the link will take me to slide 5. If I choose this choice, then the link is going to take me to slide 6, and so forth. And it'll just keep going and start branching out and branching out and branching out. And obviously you don't need to use, depending on what year group you are, you might only do to a certain point. And in terms of a Google slide template, I've also put the link down at the bottom there. This again might give you a better idea. As you can see in the box where it says A option, this could be my scenario, my dilemma, and here's my options. Well, this is where you can see now. So if I click on this option, then you can see it's going to take me to slide 3. If I click on this option, it's going to take me to slide 4. So that's where the branching works and how the choose your own adventure works. It's literally just by hyperlinking it to a slide. And when you come to, if I was going to present this, then you wouldn't see that it's going to take you to, it'll just take you there. It's not going to pop up saying slide 7 or slide 4. Sorry if I've gone a little bit fast. I'll start with just showing you the kind of planning phase first. Was there any questions, Ben, that you feel that needed answering? Or?
No questions as of yet. I did throw in the chat there that that idea of branching is always really good to introduce and teach coding as well. Those if then statements. So even though you're doing a writing, planning for a writing piece,
yeah,
it's a great opportunity to bring in those KLA opportunities, those cross KLA opportunities. And I know that coding is always one of those areas that some teachers find difficult to be able to know where to go because their confidence isn't there. But it can be as simple as sitting down and going through a writing process and doing that planning of the branching that you just showed, to then be able to use that as a stepping stone to those coding different statements.
Just to see it as a visual from the start path to the end. So I'll just show you how those hyperlinks work. Yeah. So a really simple slide. For example, okay, you could choose which character you wanted to be in the story. Okay, so I've got the choice of 3 superhero characters. On slide number 2, this is going to be my Captain Courage scenario. All right, so what I want to do when the audience clicks on Captain Courage, I want to take it straight to that slide. Okay, so if I click on Captain Courage, all right, and if I go to the hyperlink, you can see it's given me some options already. The next slide, it would be the next slide, but I'm just going to get in the habit of typing slide 2 because that's where I want it to go, to Captain Courage. And that's going to take me there now. So if I click on that link, it will take me straight there. Likewise with the different character, I want Stealth Girl, I want this character. If I choose to go to base my story around that character, I want it to go to slide 3. So same again, I'm going to insert link and I want to go to slide 3. Right, so now I'll click on that link. I can go straight there. And sometimes it's good to give people the option to go back, or if it was a story and they choose to go over the old rickety bridge rather than the safe path, like that might come to an end. It could be a wrong option, so you can put these buttons to send you back to the slides. So if I've checked out the scenario of Captain Courage and I thought, you know what, I'm not really interested in that scenario, I'm going to choose a different character. So on the page, I'm going to call it like a button. I've just got a shape, and I've just created a shape, and then from there I can go back to slide 1. So if I was to present, and I want to choose, I want to go with which superhero am I? I like the look of this character, and then it will take me straight to there. I want to change my mind and go back. So if you did have your Google slide open, and if you wanted to have a go at it now, you can do. If you wanted to just keep watching, you can do as well, but I'll go a little bit slow with this one. So just to go really simple, if you just want to create a shape, let's just say circle. Right, let's go with 3 options. Right. Then if you just want to add some more slides to your deck, and then from there, if you want to practice, just inserting a link to the certain slides. Should do some changes here. Obvious. Oh. Right, so when I click on my shape, you can get the link from up here, or I think you can double click. So I want to send this to slide 5. I'm going to send this one to slide 6. I'm going to send this one to slide 8. So that's how the pathways work. It's literally just hyperlinking that will send you to the certain slide. Any questions on that? Does that make sense, Ben?
No questions in there, but one thing that might be worth calling out, at the moment, you've got a whole lot of slides. You've just got the number of the slide, which is easy enough for the students to be able to know which slide to go to. If you utilize the different types of text, it will actually come up next to it. So if you just scroll back up there, Phil, when you went to when you're linking from the second slide, I think it was. So if you click there.
Oh, yeah.
And when you go to link, if you just click on that, you'll notice it says slide 1 how.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
If you go to the how, or if you go to that first slide, that how is obviously being picked up. So you could use that heading feature of that type of text, and it will actually put that in there. So you know where you're going. So if students are kind of putting out those headings on each new page or each new slide, a bit easier for them to navigate.
Yeah, perfect. Oh, with the titles, yeah, how it says how. Yeah, that I think that's why I did it with yeah, the why I had the titles Captain Courage. Like when you go to the yeah, if I click on that now, then it'll say slide 2 Captain Courage. Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah,
just makes it easy. Kind of comes out as they start to populate.
Yeah.
Any questions? Sandra's just put there that it's a great planning for narrative writing as well. So you can go through and have that down through that process.
Yeah, so there's an example of narrative writing. I've just got an image as a background. I've just inserted. I just search mountain and put it as my background. I've got a quick introduction to the story, and then the dilemma is about which direction are you going to go up the mountain? All right, I don't know the whole story. It could be a competition. It could be a rescue attempt. Okay, it's just the race to the summit. So again, you could put the symbols in. Sorry, you could put some buttons in. That would work. All right, so this is, or you could highlight the text. So I'm going to say choose the longer, easier, safer route. I'm going to highlight that, and then that's going to go to the next slide. I could probably change it from there, but yeah, if I choose the longer, easier, safer route, it's going to take me to that slide. If I do the perilous north face, okay, then I want it to go to again. So then I can click on the text, and then there's my next scenario. So you can see how a narrative might look. I might plan out. If you think of going back to there, here's my scenario, which is my introduction. I've just introduced the story. The scenario is which side of the mountain you're going to climb up, and then your choices go from there. Yeah, so it takes some real thinking of the kids, because I know when you're teaching narrative, it's hard enough to get one great idea. So the fact that you've got to come up with potentially two stories that are kind of going together. That's the oh, sorry, Ben.
Sorry, I was just going to jump in, Phil. Once the students know the process, it's such an engaging activity for the students to actually go through. And then as has been highlighted by Haley in the chat, it then provides a fantastic way to publish those books or share them more widely with the community, because they can share them so that they open up as the present mode, and then maybe they send them down maybe to year 5, writing it for year 1. They can send them down to year 1 as that present mode, and they click on the link or a QR code, it pops up, and then they just open it up and they get to go through that choose your own adventure. So it really does give an authentic audience, and such a real example of how that might look like interactive way of having that present and be published.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I put that down later on in the presentation. Is that the fact that you can share it with your class, and you can use it in reading groups. Just kids enjoy reading text that their peers have created, especially if it's interactive. I think they really challenge themselves. They'd be really challenge themselves to see who could make the best one. Yes, I'll go back to my presentation. Yeah, so just like Ben said, once you've done your choose your own adventure, like to interact with it, you obviously need to go to present mode, or you can publish it to the web. So it's kind of a link. I think that works really well as well. You can just use shapes for buttons, or you can highlight text. I like to use the buttons. It just makes sense to click on them. Use of maps, I think, is really good as well. So you could have a choice in destinations around the world, or like the different setting of your story. That would be interesting. I just want to show you a couple of examples how I've used it in my classroom in stage 3, where it's not necessarily a narrative, but you're still doing the choose your own adventure, but it's just using it a different way. So these have got links to stage 3 units in geography and history, diverse and connected world, and Australia as a nation. I think it's because I had connection with myself, but I did some, we looked at the £10 pom, and this was something that I created that so you could actually use it as a teaching tool. Engage with the kids, that they could go through a choose your own adventure that you have created, a way to show them the content. So it starts with the introduction. All right, that kind of introduction around, and this was, we kind of brainstormed from here, like, why might people, what would have been the case, like, why was the need for people having to migrate? And then from here, we looked at the push and pull factors. So actually, I actually hyperlinked to the Jamboard. So then they've got to do a task which actually helps them decide which choice they do. Do they book a ticket to migrate to Australia, or do they wait it out? You should really stay in your home country. So the task was, on the Jamboard, they had to come up with some stay factors or some migrate factors. So just by, for example, so that was a reason why they had to stay. So they had to work on this with a partner and come up with the different push and pull factors, and then they go to the choose your own. So what I'm going to do, I think we'll book a ticket. It takes you to the ticket, and then they can look at a primary source, and then there was some discussion around that. Again, just some explicit teaching going. All right, and then where do you want to live in Australia? And then from there, okay, well, I want to go live in Melbourne. And then from there, it would be, that might be a research task for them. Like, what was the factors in pulling them towards Melbourne? Or if they chose the Snowy Mountains, what was it that was the driving factor to pull people towards there? So that's just an example of, you could use it just in your, the way to engage students, just in your explicit teaching. And then similarly, this is just a task, what the students had to do to create their own invention. First. So this was a task for the students to do a choose your own adventure, and it was based on the learning we'd done about refugees. So this was a choice. This was a choice how they could present their learning, their understanding about the life of a refugee and what they would have to go through to try to come to Australia. So, and I'd linked it in with our English. You know, we've been doing the 7 steps, so it did have to have, you know, the information there about, you know, the life of a refugee, but also it had to have these kind of 7 steps in there as well. So it was the task was, they had to create an interactive story about a refugee heading to Australia to seek asylum. And then there was we had lots of picture books, and they had lots of research and videos and things. And then I added some tutorials on how to do the choose your own adventures. Yeah, it's just an example where, yes, it lends itself to narratives, but there's definitely more options you can do it. I mean, you can imagine some of the student tasks, like when they're doing the research, like, you know, what were the choices have had to be, and these tough choices these refugee people would have had to make. So Yeah, I think it makes it powerful, engaging, and interactive. So that's just a couple of examples. Just to bring it to you guys, if you just put in your chat, can you think of any other ideas or any opportunities across the curriculum, not just as a narrative? Where else might you use a choose your own adventure? Yep, science experiment. Yep, yeah, perfect. So if you think about like a control that you might have in an experiment, you've got you might just change a control slightly and go one way or the other. In history, yeah, explorers, perfect. Or just a significant event. In history, this last term with stage 2, we were looking at first contact. So there's looking back, that could have been a really good opportunity if you think of we're looking at points of view of first contact, like, what would have happened if some other options were chosen. Yeah, I think looking back, I'd really like to have taken that on. Yeah, energy sources, create an adventure. Yeah, to different fossil fuels. Great. Yeah, we're doing sustainability in geography, so I'm really wanting to figure out a way how I can use it with sustainability. Again, it's that kind of options, isn't it? If we do this, then this happens. If we do this, then this is going to happen. So that would be a really good way of, yeah, explaining sustainability or climate change. Oh yeah, sorry. There, here we go. Yeah, so here was some examples. I just thought of myself. So yeah, you can do the in English. You can do the story and the narrative. But you could do a persuasive text. It could be an advert. It could be a way to raise awareness or a call to action. You could do it as a different way of doing surveys rather than Google Forms. It's like you depending on you're asking questions, and it could just be clicking on a picture and it takes you to a certain area. Like in the chat already, we said about history, just a way to showcase your learning, different pathways, a significant event, like imagine the choices that would be made. Geography, natural disasters, things about the environment, even in religious education, I've used it as a way when you're looking at the kind of wells of the text and looking at it from a different point of view, like the students have really looked at it from a different way when you're doing the choose your own adventures. So definitely recommend having a go, challenge yourself and using it in RE, looking at some Bible stories, or like I said, that kind of background. PHPE, you could tell some social stories or decision making in games and sport. In maths, it could be that it differentiates the learning depending on the answer they choose, sends them on a different path, takes them to a different slide, or it literally could be, rate your confidence in fractions, and there's a red, yellow, and green. If you click on the green, it takes you to a challenging problem. If you click on the red, it takes you to a more simple problem. So, or a video. So you could use the same kind of concept even in maths. Science, like we said, we've got the experiments and just the outcomes of the different choices that you do. If you do this, then this happens. In drama, you could do a live choose your own adventure. If you could do the same planning and yeah, you could attempt to do it live, like the audience, you know, you could pause, you know, freeze frame of the audience decides where the action goes. Obviously there's that link to technology, and like Ben said, it's a great way to share your text that you create with your peers and you know, in your newsletters and websites and things like that as well. So like I said, I'll put this link in the comments. These are just some of the templates and planning documents that I showed you earlier, some additional resources as well. So yeah, so thank you. I've maybe skipped a little bit quicker, but I'm hoping that give you a good idea. If there's any questions.
Has anyone got any questions there? Diana, what apps, online resources can be used when kids want to create their own illustrations to add to their story? The kids, if they could utilize actual physical things and take photos of that, bring them across. There's definitely things on iPads like Sketches School for them to create their own images, even building and creating in Keynote. If they've got the iPads, even just tracing over using the drawing tool, they can import an image from the internet, but then draw over the top using their finger, and then drag that into their photos album on the iPad. They can then use that in their own work because it's not actually using someone else's, it's their own drawing. Lawrence just said Google Drawings as well.
Even just the camera and just having the you know, people, you could have people dressed up, you could have, you know, like I said, if it was just social stories, it could be just their face and the facial expression. Like you can just literally just use your web camera as well.
Yeah, definitely. Other questions, just scrolling through. Any other questions? Anyone else got any questions in there? Obviously, the import images within Google, if you import and do a Google search, like Chris Betcher showed us yesterday in Google Docs, the same features in Slides. When you do an image search within Google, all those images are copyright free that come across, and it just opens up a side pane there for you to use. Catherine's just sharing that she's also used the same linking concept within Google Slides to create a Jeopardy style game for revision. Once you are confident linking slides with a presentation, you can create so many things. That's a great point, Catherine. Thank you for sharing that. For so long, we've kind of thought about Google Slides, we've thought about, you know, PowerPoint and all those different things as just presentation tools. But really, there's so much more to them. You can use them, as we've just seen, utilizing those links features. We use those to be able to create products and share and publish our work and show student understanding and knowledge in such a more creative way. So thank you, Phil, for giving us your time today, showing us how you've used those choose your own adventure ideas across all those KLAs that you mentioned, and sharing how we can do that. Hopefully that gives everyone some really good ideas on what they can do and take into their classroom. A reminder that this session has been recorded and will be up for you to access on the CLO website. And if you can, please take some time to fill out the evaluation form via that QR code, or I just dropped the link. That'd be great. But again, thank you, Phil, for your time. Our next session does off very shortly, and it is Bring Writing to Life with iPad, and it's going to be presented by Michelle Bunder.